Aha. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all feeling? Good to see you. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your Sunday. Sorry I was not here yesterday. Had plans to do a show, but it just didn't work out. Anyways, good to see y'all. Lots of people here today. In the chats already. We're live on Rockfin, on Callin, on YouTube, and now on Twitter. If you want to watch the show on Twitter, go to Black Bear News, the number 1. And you can watch the show there. All right. Let's get into it. Someone on Rockfin said can't join room on Callin for a couple days now. Really? I mean, Fantomas is there. I don't know. I'm not sure what the issue is. Callin can be kind of buggy. Like they can get a little glitchy and buggy and freezy. So what you might want to do is close the app out and reopen the app, or maybe even do the whole shut the phone down thing and then reopen the app. I don't know. And then it could be something else entirely. I don't know. I don't know. I wish that I did. Sure. All right. Got a like and a retweet on Twitter. Cool. All right. It's Indigenous Peoples Day or Columbus Day or whatever you want to call it day. I thought it was an Indigenous Peoples Day, but everybody is calling it Columbus Day. I was like, are we, sticky name, I guess. Columbus was a really vile, a really vile human being, by the way. But I think a lot of human beings were pretty vile back in the day. We're totally not vile now. I think we're a lot nicer. I mean, consider the fact that I mean, it was just a rougher world, you know. People were a lot more violent and a lot harsher hundreds of years ago. That's just true. And the world is still violent and harsh, just in different ways. We get, I guess, shielded from the violence and the harshness because of their layers of complexity and that. And because we live in civilized society and we rely on the resources and the products made by people who face the violence and the harshness every day in order to make the delicious goodies that we get to buy up and surround ourselves with. And say, well, we live in a civilized world. All right. I mean, I wouldn't know. Oh, it's Tim from Belgium. Updated my phone doesn't. Oh, I see. I don't know, man. It's a good question. Yeah, I haven't seen you on the call-in for a couple days, so I don't know what's going on there. All right, let's get into it because the time is wasting. And to answer your question, Judy, I'm picking up a rental car today, right after this show. So I have to get going. Nah, I mean. All right. Pretty shocking. Lots to cover, mostly from yesterday. It's a more civilized world unless you live in Gaza. Unless you live in Ukraine. Unless you live in India. I don't know. The extent of drought in Amazonas. The top photo is now. Oh, let me. Sorry. I'm not actually trying to show this to you or anything. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, I see what I have to do here. It's like I forgot how this thing worked. John, how dare you miss the streams? Absolutely unacceptable. So this is from the Amazon. This is the extent of the drought. The Amazon River. Jeez. Yeah, you can't do that. I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Like from the Dr. Evil Island. That is a lot of water. Unless they have some kind of secret dam that, dams up the whole Amazon River, which I don't know. But this is happening in other places like the U.S. as well. And there could be several factors leading to this, but one of the main factors is the fact that the weather is wacky. The world is in the midst of abrupt climate change, and it's going to have results. This will be the results. Results may vary, but stuff like this will happen. Also, the Mississippi, right? We were talking about the Mississippi being, parts of the Mississippi being inundated by saltwater intrusion, which nobody wants. Can mess a whole lot of things up. You don't want to drink salt water. This is from a headline from The Conversation. Record low water levels on the Mississippi River in 2022 show how climate change is altering large rivers. Record low water levels in the Mississippi 2 years in a row. And they're dealing with low water levels again this year, as we have covered. And they're shipping in, bargefuls of fresh water because they're afraid that people might end up with salt water where the fresh water should be. And they've already built a pretty enormous underwater dam to block the inflow of the salt water. But it looks like the salt water is winning at this point. Excuse me. This is in Scotland? No. Oh my computer's starting to lag a little bit. It's not as hot as it was. Oh, and sorry. Northern England, close to Scotland. I think I'm not super clear on the where everything's situated over there. But this is a massive rainfall. Well, we talked about it a little bit on Saturday. Rear section of the Cockermouth's historic Grade 2 listed old courthouse in Cumbria, collapsed into the River Cocker following heavy rainfall. And there's also flooding in Brazil. Got too much water or not enough water? Which one is it, climate change people? I just can't believe you. It's either too hot or it's too cold. Which one is it? It's supposed to be warming and only warming. That's all my brain can comprehend. Anyways, catastrophic flood has struck the city of Taio. I don't know how to pronounce that. In Santa Catarina, Brazil, the river is on the brink of surpassing the record level set during the 1983 Super El Nino flood. With the water rising to the second floors of the buildings, the city hall has issued a dramatic plea for assistance. Jazz Farm says, I crossed the Missouri and the Mississippi about 3 weeks ago. The Mississippi was still pretty full, but the Missouri was almost dry. Wow. It's a big river to be almost dry. And we're going to talk about new war fronts opening up on the planet. Hooray. But from Doomer Girl News, hot take: the military-industrial complex is part of the fossil fuel industry, and war is just another way for nations to subsidize the destruction of our world. I wish we spent as much money preventing war as we do staying in them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know. can't fight climate change until we win this war. Oh, you mean stop the war? Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Can't fight climate change until you stop the war. That's what I meant. Stop the warring. Well, here's interesting news. Over the last week, 2 presidential hopefuls have jettisoned from their respective parties to run as independent. Cornel West was the first. West was the first. Do it, but he did it. Well, we'll go there first, I guess. I think people have a little more question around Cornel West doing it because he started in the People's Party, left the People's Party, went to the Green Party, left the Green Party to run independent, and it kind of looks a little bit, I don't know, chaotic, I guess. I mean, some people think the Green Party is just the Democratic Party light these days. So, on one level, you could probably say, well, that's good. He left the Green Party, which is now Democratic Party light. But some people are also kind of, confused as to how he would find his footing. And why also he left the Green Party. Some people are a little confused about that. He did recently take on Peter Dow as a campaign manager. And a lot of people are wondering if that was part of the decision. And again, why he would do this. A lot of people have questions about Peter Dow Peter Dow used to be a Democratic operative. Did he work on Hillary Clinton's campaign? I think he might have at one point. And so, Peter Dow swears up and down that he's truly a radical now. And other people have questions about his intentions. But RFK Jr. also declared an independent run. And I think it makes more sense for RFK Jr. to leave the Democratic Party and not run on the Democratic ticket because we know how they treat the people who want to go against the status quo, right? We know how they treat, consider people who they consider outsiders. So a lot of people have said they didn't trust Kennedy for running inside the Democratic Party. I think maybe he had maybe a naive hopefulness around the idea that the Democratic Party was still anywhere near institutionally intact from the days of his uncle and father being part of the Democratic Party. Maybe he felt an affiliation or a nostalgia, and he realized that the treatment he was getting already was enough writing on the wall to go independent, which makes perfect sense. And you might say, why did you even begin in the Democratic Party? I don't know. These are all very good questions. Why even begin? But he officially announces his run as an independent. I think people probably give him more. If Cornel West's campaign looks kind of tattered, I think people give Kennedy's campaign, somewhat more viability by doing this. Two different takes on the same action. Cornel West looks confused. Kennedy looks maybe more focused because he realizes the Democratic Party is not going to treat him well. They're going to do everything to derail him. They'll probably cheat him during the primaries, as they have already demonstrated, doing it twice to Bernie Sanders. I don't even know really what more evidence you need of that kind of stuff. But he tried it. He tried the Democratic Party, realized they were not going to give him a fair shake, and then decided to take it to the streets. All right. We'll listen to this a little bit.
Declare independence from the cynical elite. This year, I have witnessed an upwelling of optimism that I've never seen before. And optimism isn't the same thing as denial. We have to acknowledge the truth. We do face a decaying infrastructure and record levels of suicide, depression, addiction, chronic disease. We do face an entrenched political corruption and an inequality of wealth not seen in a century. But the good news is that people like yourselves are finally fed up. Something is stirring in us that says it doesn't have to be this way. People stop me everywhere, at airports, at hotels and malls, on the street, and they remind me that this country is ready for a history-making change. They are ready to reclaim their freedom, their independence. And
okay, I'm not going to play too much of this because I want to cover some other things, but yeah, Steph C, I agree. It probably, if that was part of the strategy, is not a bad one, right? Start in the Democratic Party. Have them display how crooked they're going to be right off the bat, right? Oh, we're not going to have any primaries. Oh, we're going to move the primaries around. Oh, we're not going to, if you campaign in New Hampshire, we won't count your votes in Georgia. Like ridiculous, absolutely insane stuff like that. To show clearly. And then Biden not giving him Secret Service protection also, doesn't make them look good. Can only make RFK Jr. look good. He probably has a better chance of getting on all the ballots on all 50 states just because of the organization he has. So, we'll see. We'll see how this works out for him. Lastly, speaking of Hillary, but again, I'm going to play this clip because it's kind of, she's saying Trump supporters need to be deprogrammed. Like, all right. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that I think that, people that
very strong partisans in both
people that, love Trump, they all think he's in a cult. Okay. And you may, but there are people that think if you're a Democrat, you're in a cult. And you kind of are, because, culting only, culting means that whatever it is that your leader does, no matter how despicable, is totally fine because, the end result is we win or we are right. And, anything the other side does is absolutely insane, just, off the wall, Looney Tunes, right? That's prime cult thinking, right? So Democrats are in a cult, I'm sure plenty of Trumpers probably exhibit cult-like behavior, but the fact that they're trotting out Hillary is not good. I'm just going to give the Democratic Party in general a hint. I'm going to give you some help. I'm going to give you some strategy help. Do not put Hillary Clinton out there to speak on anything for any reason because people don't like her. They do not like her. They do not trust her. And you can scream up and down, well, that's sexism and misogyny. And you're just one of them right wingers and a culter and a Trumper or secret closet. Nobody cares. I'm just spelling it out for you. Nobody cares how much you scream and yell and clutch your pearls. Oh my God, you're so sexist. You're saying bad things about Hillary. Nobody cares. I don't like Hillary Clinton, and I don't care what you have to say about me. You know, whether you tell me I'm like a bad person for saying that, nobody cares. So, okay, just to break it down for you. So listen, Democratic people, Democratic Party, do not. The more you put Hillary Clinton out there, the worse you make yourself look. You look deranged because she sounds deranged. She's not a good spokesperson for you. And she's only speaking to the culty Democratic base. She's only speaking to the very small percentage of people who are still, I'm with Hillary, I'm with her, right? They're still speaking to the I'm with her people. Guess what? That base has gone from, some kind of base in 2016 to, this big. There is no more I'm with her base, okay? They are almost all gone. And I don't know who you're speaking to. So it is a bad move. It is a really bad move. So, Democratic Party, free advice for you. Don't keep running Hillary out there. And this is just, playing into the hands of making Trump more, if you're saying she's out there saying that Trump cultists need to be deprogrammed. I guarantee you, Trump just picked up a few more voters. You just handed Trump a few more voters. If that's your intention, you win.
Both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself.
That is rich. The person that nobody wants to hear from anymore is trying to say that he doesn't have any credibility left, even though he's leading in the polls. He's leading Biden by, 12 points in the polls. He doesn't have any credibility left? Okay. Keep talking, Hillary.
He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members.
This interviewer is like making her facial expressions. If you can barely see him. She's kind of doing this like, okay, kind of thing. While Hillary's talking, she's like, okay.
But something needs to happen. And how do you?
Anyways, that's all I'm gonna play that. Something needs to happen. They need to be deprogrammed. These cult members. Sorry for having it out in here. Anyways. All right, I'm going to, guys, if you like this show being here every day and you want to support the show, there are lots of ways to do it. You can super chat me, Super Ray, which is a Rockfin tip, Super Ray me, paypal.me/Kevin Sandbloom. These are direct ways you can support me. Venmo at Kevin Sandbloom, Cash App at Red Llama Music. buymeacoffee.com/BlackBearNews. And you can also follow me at Black Bear News, the #1 on Twitter, and also watch the show there. So, yeah, I'm going to jump off because I want to talk about a couple other things. I'm going to jump off YouTube just so I don't get any more trouble. And so we'll see you on Rockfin. We're going to still be live on Twitter, still be live on Callin. So you can watch the show at those other places. We are just not going to be on YouTube. So YouTubers, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.